you that's what the means and methods are, right? And then imagining the press release. So this is a curveball, but it's fun. It's an interesting one, right? So tell me, what's the thinking with this one?
This was part of a live presentation I did for that Actually Snatched Ventures. Cool. I don't know if you know Kevin Colas, but he is such a darling and such a good place to start our first meeting, kind and patient. We spent an hour with him. It was really just, it's not meant to be part of the deck, but it is meant to be part of the pitch, if you understand. I liked the approach. I just found it to be, creative and fun, as you said, and I'm not really sure how to. I was thinking of using it as a cold outreach before we send a memo or a deck, just to capture attention. It's not strong enough on its own, but just playing with it.
It's an interesting idea. Certainly, the tricky thing is that blocks of text are very expensive.
Yeah.
In terms of attention, right? In terms of like brain power, it's very like not the best illustration here, but the having like when receiving and analyzing decks, you're already kind of allergic to a lot of text. And so it's not clear so this is a classic example of like, you have the context of what this is, I don't. So what I think this is like a white paper situation where there's just like a data dump of something. I get that it's kind of a press release, but it's also in a little bit of a confusing spot. So it's not entirely clear to me what exactly is going on here. So I'm not going to say it's a bad idea. It's new. I'm not seeing this done before. But I would question kind of what the utility of it is over and above, some other approaches. Like instead of putting effort into something like this, could you put that same copywriting effort and creativity and kind of putting out content into some thought leadership, some articles, some podcast appearances or whatever, some things like that that could help get you a little bit more exposure and kind of use some more of the, the things that you think are going to happen. You could kind of write those in article or thought leadership form, right? So interesting approach. I would be very curious to hear kind of how it comes across and how people react to it, because I've not seen this, not seen that done before. Okay, thank you. Stay cool. Love it. I like that tagline. Yeah, then we do have competition here a little bit, right? So here's something, just a final couple comments here. When we're looking at competitive landscape, right? This is competition from an engineer's perspective, right? Investor will have no clue what these things mean unless they are heavily technically bought in already, at which point they will probably know by slide 4 or 5 whether you guys make sense or not, right? You don't actually need to get into this, but there are some compelling stats here, right? Water use, right? GPU lifetime, right? 5x is the GPU lifetime. This is becoming a hot topic in the kind of back rooms of a lot of VC funds and kind of investors at the moment. Is that like, well, if we put all this money into NVIDIA and they have to make all these chips, well, how long are they going to last? Because they're already at capacity. So not only do they have to be at capacity they have to increase that capacity to both make more of what we need right now, but also replace. But in 5 years, they will have to have the capacity to replace what starts to burn out, right? So if you do this rapid build out, how long is that build out going to last? Because these GPUs don't last forever. So this is pertinent, right? So very, very interesting. The delta stability, like the delta temperature, is not particularly compelling. I don't know what PUE means. I don't need to know. It's a rhetorical question. Like, I don't need to know what it means necessarily. Power use, I guess, power use efficiency mechanism. That basically, like, there are compelling stats in here about what the product does, and I would like to see them here, right? Or earlier on, so somewhere earlier on in the deck. What's this summary of sources? Yeah, whatever. Nobody reads sources. But it's a nice gesture to have it in there. And then here, I see there is a box here for it, but I would just put, I think this is the gamma tag, right?
It sure is.
Yes, no big deal. You want to have your logo down there. Logo does not have to be particularly complex, right? Like, jump on Google Fonts, find something, just write out RevJet, and find something that looks like vaguely cool as a logo, and it's like, boom, you're done. You've got a word mark, right? That's literally what the pitch for a word mark is, right? Like, yes, I did spend an extraordinarily long time figuring out this icon, but this is just a word mark, right? And this would suffice, right? If I just use, just the word mark itself, perfectly fine. It's just a font. Push out the spacing a little bit is a trick to like a very simple, easy word mark logo. All you have to do is all caps, all the letters in a chunky font, and then increase the character, just like the character kerning, or the weight between them, especially if you have a short name like this. Just increase the spacing between it, and it looks like a logo, right? That's usually enough for like the first year or two. So, okay, so if we zoom out a little bit, kind of review this again, right? The biggest changes here would be to show me more of what's going on and the vibe and what's going on with the actual product itself, and show me some of the hardware. Give me some of those dollar amount sizes, and also give me some rationale for like why these markets are just not going to get unlocked unless we have these infrastructure things in place. And then break out some of these product photos into some of these spots where you can, into some of these spots where they can showcase the product, right? And be useful. And then we've got our whole kind of illustration thing going on here. I think it is important to kind of explain how it works, but we don't need to kind of create a particularly complex infographic to do that. Like so. What are we missing here? Cover, summary, problem, credentials, solution detailed, technology breakdown, market, competition should come up here, right? And this could just be icons and logos. It doesn't have to be a full breakdown of feature comparison. Just tell me how else are these places being pooled, including the legacy solutions, because a lot of who you're going to have to sell this to, they just have a legacy solution that you're going to replace. And so it's not a matter of like competing with another newcomer necessarily in all cases. In most cases, it's going to be getting people off the legacy solution into something new. Traction so this would be converted into milestones and roadmap. If you have any traction, conversations, LOIs, partnerships, any of that would be good on a separate slide out here, right? Ideally before this, sorry. This one should be chopped up and put the bottom part into the solution, because bottom part into the roadmap and the top part into the solution. Leadership's fine. Team slides are usually fairly straightforward, right? It's just like who's on the team, what are their credentials, what are their capabilities. This actually, team slides, these are slides that people will actually read. Like if there's a lot of text on them, they'll actually read and see kind of what's the deal with the people. Raise makes sense. Thank you. And this, I would definitely include an appendix, right? All of that deep, juicy, heavy technical detail that you might want to put in there, or that you might want to put in the deck if you were given kind of infinite time to present. And I'm sure, given that you have an engineering heavy team, there are a lot of things they would love to say that they do not have time for in a 3 to 5 minute deck, which is totally valid. But just make us a quality table of contents here, so that when we do get into the nitty gritty of all these different, when we do get into all these varied, like all the different things that you want to talk about, that we have a way to navigate easily to all of these slides. Because if you have like a massive stack of appendix slides, it's going to take me forever to go through each one and try and find what it is I'm looking for, rather than if I know what's going on. It's like, okay, I want legal. Okay, I can jump to legal, right? I want financial model. Okay, I can jump to financial model, right? It's a fundamental, like, people that just make appendices without a table of contents, they're almost useless, right? Because it takes so long to get through the whole thing and find detail. You have to have a table of contents if you do an appendix, right? All right. Cool.
You are
Is that good? All good?
amazing. That was beyond. That would be worth
Any questions?
$10,000 somewhere, Ben. Really, I know.
That'll be $100,000, please.
Yeah. Well, when we sell the $1 trillion, we'll get back to you.
You better. Yeah. No. And so one of the things also for you brave soul survivors who stuck around as well is that from all of these breakdowns, one of the things that I'd like you to kind of think about and take away from this is that, like, we're all kind of playing a very similar game, right? We're trying to illustrate to investors that you're building something, that there is value in it, that it is somewhat unique, but most importantly, that you are kind of getting out of your head and out of the lab and out into the world and actually building something, and that you have an understanding of who you're trying to sell to, of who the market is, or what's going on, all that good stuff, right? So those have been the same issues across 3 different companies. One was a gaming assets reselling and selling trading marketplace. One was a medical AI admin administration platform, and one is a deep tech energy and infrastructure related thing. But the structure of them and the things that we needed to emphasize and the tweaks that we made were universal across all of them, right? So with that knowledge, I now invite you to kind of head off out into the ecosystem, go on YouTube, find some more pitches, find some other decks, and try just examining from the way in similar way that we've been doing today with these same structures and the same rubrics. There will now be things in those decks that you can never unsee, right?